September 8th, 2023. Welcome to Dalsan TV, Somalia's premium #1 station for news and updates. I'm your presenter, Abdurrahman Yusuf. Tonight, we have a couple of stories lined up for you, but first let's take a look at the stories that are making our headlines. UN pledges to support Somali security forces to the core. 107 Al-Shabaab fighters surrender to Somali authorities. UK Embassy in Mogadishu hosts the first Somali-UK Nationals event. Glad to have you back. Now let's delve into a full bulletin. On the final day of a 4-day visit to Somalia, the UN Under-Secretary General told Kare pledged the United Nations support office in Somalia will do everything in its power to ensure that the Somali security forces could take full control of the security responsibilities as the Africa Union peacekeepers gradually withdraw. Here's the full story. On the final day of a 4-day visit to Somalia, UN Under-Secretary General Atul Kare pledged the United Nations Support Office in Somalia will do everything in its power to ensure that the Somali security forces take full control of security responsibilities as Africa Union peacekeepers gradually withdraw. Under-Secretary General Kare emphasized that in order for the AU and the UN to achieve a successful transition, Somali security forces must take full control over security responsibilities from the Africa Union Transition Mission in Somalia, gradually withdraw with the assistance of the United Nations Support Office. On Sunday, Kare traveled to Dalsan, the capital of Galmudug State, where he met with Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud and other senior officials. The discussion centered on the ongoing military offensives against the Al-Shabaab militants, the withdrawal of the ATMIS troops, and the United Nations Support Office assistance in the post-ATMIS Somalia. Kare visited Dalsan Airport Forward Operating Base while in Galmudug, which has been designated to hand over in the second phase of ATMIS troop drawdown as mandated by the UN Security Council Resolution 2687/2023. The exercise, which involves the withdrawal of 3,000 troops, is scheduled to end by the end of this month. He expressed satisfaction with the progress made in establishing and strengthening institutions that will be in charge of securing Somalia after ATMIS departs. Other United Nations dignitaries who met with Under-Secretary General Kare include Katrina Laing, the UN Special Representative for Somalia, and the head of the United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia, Anita Kiki Gebo, the UN Deputy Special Representative for Somalia, and George Conway, the UN Deputy Special Representative and Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator for Somalia. The highest-ranking United Nations official also met with ATMIS top management, ambassadors from the troop contributing countries in Somalia. The highest-ranking United Nations official also met with ATMIS top management, ambassadors from troop contributing countries in Somalia, representatives from the international community, and the United Nations country teams, among others. Diplomats from Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, the United Kingdom, Turkey, the United States, the African Union, and the European Union, among others, met with the Under-Secretary General Kare. 107 Al-Shabaab fighters surrendered to the Somali government forces according to the country's counter-terrorism center between July and August. According to Abdullahi Muhammad Noor, director of the National Center for Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism, the militants surrendered in 4 states: Hirshabelle, Galmudug, Southwest, and Jubaland states. 107 Al-Shabaab fighters surrendered to the Somali government forces according to the country's counter-terrorism between July and August. According to Abdullahi Muhammad Noor, the director of the National Center for Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism, the militants surrendered in 4 states: Hirshabelle, Galmudug, Southwest, and Jubaland. He urged the fighters planning to take advantage of the government amnesty to do the same, saying they will welcome defections from the Al-Shabaab militants. The move comes as fighting between the Somalia National Army and group fighters has intensified on multiple fronts, primarily in south-central Somalia. Al-Shabaab is a militant group based in Somalia. The group emerged in mid-2000s as an offshoot of the Islamic Courts Union, which has gained control of a large part of southern Somalia. Al-Shabaab, which means the youth in Arabic, initially presented itself as a nationalist movement seeking to establish an Islamic state in Somalia, governed by a strict interpretation of the Sharia law. Over the years, Al-Shabaab has evolved into a formidable agency and a regional threat. The group has been responsible for numerous acts of terrorism, including suicide bombings, assassinations, and guerrilla-style attacks targeting civilians, government officials, and the Africa Union Transition Mission in Somalia ATMIS forces. UK Embassy in Mogadishu hosted the first Somali-UK dual nationals in an event spearheaded by the UK Ambassador to Somalia, Mike Nithivriankis. Abdurrahman Abdul Shakur, Special Presidential Envoy for Drought and Response, was among the high-ranking government Somali officials that attended the event. UK and Embassy in Mogadishu hosted the first Somali-UK dual nationals in an event spearheaded by the UK Ambassador to Somalia, Mike Nithivriankis. Abdurrahman Abdul Shakur, Special Presidential Envoy for Drought, was among the high-ranking Somali government officials that attended the event. Ambassador Nithivriankis thanked the Somali UK nationals for the vital role they play in fostering ties between the two nations at grassroots level.
I want to firstly, I think, congratulate and pay tribute to you for the contribution that you are making to both countries, because frankly, government representatives can only do so much to tie bilateral relationships together. It's down to the individuals, the people-to-people links, the soft power that you bring, and particularly a country like Somalia that has had so many challenges to face. The fact that there are people from the United Kingdom and other parts of the world who have a love for the country of their birth or the country of their origin and are back here, working here, investing in the country, developing relationships, highlighting the opportunities, I think that's incredibly important. And we all know that there are myriad challenges that the government and the communities here face, but there are also bright spots on the horizon.
UK and Somalia have strong historical ties dating back to the 19th century. On 25th April 2013, the UK became the first Western country to reopen its embassy in Somalia after its closure at the start of the civil war in 1991. Over the years, UK has supported Somalia's federal government in several sectors, including supporting counter-terrorism strategy, led and owned by Somalis in collaboration with important international partners to degrade and defeat Al-Shabaab. This includes aid with security sector reform, police force development, and security force assistance. The United Kingdom has also played a critical role in providing vital aid to Somalia in response to its growing risk of famine, as climate change threatens to make such crises more frequent. Lovely viewers, that UK story brings us to the end of our bulletin. I wish to thank the Dalsan Media fraternity for making this news bulletin a success, and you, lovely viewer, wherever you're watching us from, kindly keep tabs for more stories in our subsequent bulletins, and be blessed.